This video deals with independent sample t-test, a parametric hypothesis testing method on typical data from a two-condition investigation using SPSS. The t-test for independent sample or unrelated data tests the null hypothesis that the population from which the two samples are drawn have identical means. Before proceeding, we have to keep in mind that t-tests are a type of parametric or distribution dependent test that depend on certain data assumptions for their results to be valid. 1. Homogeneity of variance. It is the level of variance for a particular variable, and we imagine or we have to make sure that the level of variance for a particular variable is constant across the sample. That means if there are two groups, the level of variance has to be constant through the two groups. That means if there are two groups, both the groups have to be somewhat similar in size. If both the groups are different like this, then we have to say that the data does not have a homogeneity. If homogeneity of variance is not there, we cannot proceed with t-test. Assumption 2. Data of the dependent variable will be either in interval level or in ratio level, and the data of independent variable will be in ordinal level with two categories. Assumption 3. The data is normally distributed. Now we will look into the data given here. Here this is stress, this is perceived social support, this is positive attitude, this is gender, and when we look at the gender, there are father and mother. This is the data of the parents of the children with autism. So there are three continuous data or three data in ratio form and one data in ordinal form with two categories, father and mother. Now we have to check the assumption whether the data in ratio form is normally distributed. To check the normal distribution of this data, we'll go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, Explore, we'll transfer the data in ratio form to the dependent list, the ratio, the data in ordinal form towards the factor list. Now we'll open plots window, we'll uncheck stem and leaf, we'll check histogram, then we'll continue, and we have to check normality plots with tests here, then continue, then give OK. output window. Here the skewness, statistic, kurtosis statistic, standard error. We can find out the normality by dividing the statistic with standard error of skewness as well as kurtosis. And if the quotient is between plus or minus 2, we can say that the data is almost normally distributed. Here we have got the tests of normality. Let us look here first. It's very clear by looking into Shapiro-Wilks test that stress in father is normally distributed, stress in mother is normally distributed, perceived social support in father is normally distributed, perceived social support in mother is normally distributed, positive attitude in father is normally distributed, and positive attitude in mother is normally distributed. And histogram is okay here. Stress of the father, stress of the mother, QQ plot is okay. There is one outlier here, but we are not giving much importance to the outlier now, and it is not starred. And this is the histogram of perceived social support of the father, of the mother, QQ plot. If these dots are not coming in this line, we have to say that the data is not normally distributed. And here gender, histogram, positive attitude of the father, positive attitude of the mother, all these are normally distributed. Now, as we have identified that the data is normally distributed, we'll proceed with the t-test. For that, we'll go to Analyze, Compare Means, Independent Sample t-test, and gender towards the grouping variable. While entering, we have coded 1 for father and 2 for mother. We have to show that here 1 for father and 2 for mother, and we have to continue. Then we can send stress towards the test variable, transfer perceived social support towards the test variable, positive attitude towards the test variable. Now everything here has been done. We will give OK, and the result came here in the output window. Here the group statistic, we can see that stress is more for father compared to mother, and standard deviation is also not much different here. Perceived social support is more for father than mother, and positive attitude is somewhat equal here. Now let us check the homogeneity of variance. Levin's test for equality of variances. Check homogeneity of variance. Here for stress F is 0.116. It is not significant. That means the two groups, father and mother, has homogeneity. They are homogeneous in the case of stress. Here perceived social support, Levin's F is 0.220, significance is 0.640. It's above 0.05. That means the data of the father and data of the mother is homogeneous in the case of perceived social support. Then positive attitude, F is 0.039, significance is 0.843. It is above 0.05. That means the data of positive attitude of the father and the data of positive attitude of mother are homogeneous. We can proceed with T now. If this F shows that the data is not homogeneous, then we have to go towards equal variance is not assumed. Now in the present data we can see that stress is homogeneous in both the groups, so we will go with equal variance is assumed, and the T is 2.489. It is significant. That means mother and father, the difference of mother and father in stress is significant. It is below 0.05. And perceived social support T is 1.687, but it is not below 0.05. So we have to say that in the case of perceived social support, both mother and father, even though there is a difference here in the mean, that difference is not significant. And in the case of positive attitude, T is minus 0.094. Minus shows the direction of the difference. However, it is not significant. So we have to say that father and mother do not differ in positive attitude. So we have rejected the null hypothesis in the case of stress, accepted the null hypothesis in the case of perceived social support, and accepted the null hypothesis in the case of positive attitude. Now let us see how we can make a table for this one. As the first step of developing the table, we'll copy this one and I will paste it in the Excel sheet in a Unicode format, and I'll copy this one and we'll paste it here, somewhere here. Now what all are important here is what we will go to find out first. Mean is important. We have to show the mean. Standard deviation is important. Standard error mean is important, but even if we don't show it as a table, it's okay, no problem. Levin's F is important, but we need not show it as a table. So we need not show its significance also. T is important because this is T test. We should not forget T. Degrees of freedom is important. In many of the studies they are showing degrees of freedom. We can show it, but it's almost common. We can put it in a bracket after the table title, so we need not show it in the table. Significance we have to indicate with T. So as per this explanation, I will take a decision of putting certain values here. Instead of standard error mean, I am putting T here, and I am deleting all these from here and adding T values of the equal variance assumed here. And to know the significance, I am putting it here, but later I may delete it. I'm putting it here now. Now, to make things a little more interesting, I am first rounding these values into the nearest number. Now I will make this in a little more standard way, so I will copying this one and I am presenting it in a transposed situation. Transpose. I'm putting mother here, deleting this one. Main, first I'll put mother together here. No. No. Now standard deviation of 124 is this, standard deviation of 115 is this, standard deviation of 57 is here, standard deviation of 55.41 is here, and standard deviation of 12.59 is here. Standard deviation of 12.63 is here. You can write and stress. So this is stress. This is perceived social support. And this is positive attitude. And these are the variables here. I'm copying the whole from here and I'm pasting it in a Word file. This is T and this is significant. This is not, I'm removing this from here. Now merging this, merging this, merging these two and merging these two. Table 1. It became very simple and standard table. Can make it APA now, APA format. Became like this now. Now we can modify it a little more. Perfectly APA now. In italics, what is the n of father we will mention here, equals father is 49, mother is 71, 49 mother 71 and degree of freedom is 118, so we'll mention that also here. And below we can show, yeah, this only one star, star p is lesser than 0.05. If there is star, we have to assume like that. Now we can choose these cells, go to layout, press the middle one, so it will be like this. Now we can choose everything and change it into Times New Roman. and double spaced became APA formatted table successfully, became a very simple table. Anybody can make it like this.